We're live. Let's do this. Hey, everybody. Let me hop on IG really quickly, my YouTube people, and tell IG that we're on. Let's go live now. All right. Is that it? Activate. Wonder Twin Powers, activate. Live. Okay. All right, guys. Live. Okay. I don't know if that's working. I always have problems with IG. Is it worth it, y'all? Oh my goodness. Come on, live. We are live. This is like real life. All right, I have no idea. I keep hitting live and nothing's happening. So anyway, it is what it is. But listen, I am Nikki with That Homeschool Life, where I bring you real, honest, and practical homeschooling advice. And in this video, we are going to be talking about my homeschool choices, the hits, and the misses. And I'm going to cover all 3 grade levels that my sons are in. That would be 4th grade, 6th grade, and 8th grade. And then I'm going to break out with smaller individual videos that just focus on each grade level. All right, guys, I'm trying to make this. Let me just get out of here. Oh, I did not want to do that. Did not want to do that. All right. Anyway, live. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so first, I know I'm early. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now for the summertime, I have no plans for when I go live. I'll still have the Friday night shows, but I'm just going to try to pop in here throughout the week and try to catch up on a lot of video requests. I have a lot, and it's easier for me just to do a live because I can, tackle a lot. I can get a lot done. What's up, Vasan, Dr. Mommy? And so, hi, guys. So we're going to get right on it. Hey, Zoe. It's good seeing you. Okay, so hits and misses. Remember, IG, if you're joining late, I'm combining 4th, 6th, and 8th grade. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with writing. Now, you guys know I have been lauding the curriculum of writing and rhetoric, okay? Writing and rhetoric. Love writing and rhetoric, okay? It's published by Classical Academic Press, written by Paul Cortipeter. I think that's how you say his last name. I love writing and rhetoric, but I don't like book 4. I cannot stand book 4. I'm starting, you know what? You should always lead or start with the positive, especially if you're a teacher and you're like parent-teacher conference or you're talking to a student. You always want to lead with the positive. I'm not doing that today. This thing gave me so much grief. I'm leading with the first miss. That is writing and rhetoric. This is book 4, The Craya. Now, I knew what I was getting myself into when I purchased this, because I have all the books, all 12 books in the series. And people said, whatever, they didn't like this book. They skipped it. But, it's like when you're dating or you're trying to marry somebody and they've been divorced several times and you're like, oh, I'll be different. Or they have like 20 girlfriends and you think you're going to be that one girlfriend that sticks around. I'll be different. No, you're not. You're going to be like everyone else and the next one that's on the notch, the bed notch. I thought I was going to be different, and I got my feelings hurt and found out that I'm just like everybody else. And I did not like this for the same reason that a lot of people did not write this. Writing and rhetoric, the Craya and proverb, it's in the title. You have a lot of proverb writing, and it gets really, really repetitive, okay? And I didn't feel like it was furthering my children's the writing process, and I didn't feel that it was adding more. It wasn't adding a piece to the big picture of writing. So it's a big miss, and I will do an individual video on this where I will walk through writing and rhetoric book 4 so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So first miss, sorry, writing and rhetoric. All right, let's start with a win. So we'll go with history. Now, all of my kids are using this together. And it's, you know, it's kind of easy for my 8th grader, but he enjoys stories. Listen, guys, remember back when you were younger, and if you're of a particular age, you watched Schoolhouse Rock. I still have the playlist of all the Schoolhouse Rock episodes, and then the subject that it applied to. And what's the one with oh, it's a science one. But anyway, so I like to combine my grade levels for the social sciences, and that's one of them. Now, for all the things I don't like about Story of the World is my gripe with history told from a certain perspective. So we always have to, when I teach my children, we have to be real detectives. We have to just, you know, chew the fat and spit out the bones, which is what you have to do with story and rhetoric. It's very Eurocentric, but you can find jewels in it, and the timeline, I like how it's laid out. But what I most like about Story of the World is the activity guide. I have this forever. I never broke it out. My oldest one, who's in 8th grade, we just listened and did, you know, had the textbook, but I never opened this, although I had it. My children enjoyed this so much. I mean, you could just see, I didn't think they would want to color doing map work. I mean, they were doing it so much. I had to make I had to make a binder. They just got into the characters, the main players throughout history. And then, I don't know if y'all can see this. For each chapter, there is an area map. So you know where you are, who the major players are, major landmarks, things like that. My children love that. So what I would do, I would play the audiobook. Now, this is a little pricey, so if you are interested in this, please start looking on eBay right now. These run like at least $30, and it's like 12 or 14, 9 CDs. So I would play the audio, and they would sit down with all their markers, and they would listen, and they would color the map, and then they would color some of the major characters. They loved that. They loved it. And then, of course, I would be nearby, and I would pause stuff. I'm like, did you hear what I just said? Let me break it down. Or they left this out. You know, so I have to kind of align the history as it's being told with Story of the World with our alignment of history. So, but this was a major hit. I had no idea. So Story of the World, Volume 2, The Middle Ages. Okay. Now let's move on. Big hit. That was a big surprise. All right, let's move on to science. She blinded me with science. All right. Hey, Ashley, have you ever tried woke homeschool freedom curriculum? Look, I have a video on that. I'm actually going to do a walkthrough through woke homeschool. The sister has a couple of versions. She just came out with the high school one. So I'm going to do a walkthrough with that. But yes, from what I saw last year when I bought it, I really loved it. I'm really big on layouts, the visual design of curriculum and lesson plans. And the sister does a really, really great job of the layout and the organization of the whole year using that. So I will definitely have, I should probably just do a live on that. So that way you guys can ask me questions. Now, we've never used it. We're going to use it in the fall, but I really, really like it. All right. So that was a great question, Ashley. Hey, Adina, Sharpie Logic. Well, Sarah, Kakaza. I'm sorry if I'm butchering y'all's names. All right. So Ellen McHenry, The Elements of the Universe. I've had this bad boy for like 6-7 years. I really got into it this year. That's why sometimes I tell you guys, if you have curriculum and it's not working out, just hold on to it if you can, because, you might circle back to it. Now, y'all know my story with science. I did the building blocks. I went all around the world with science, and my kids loved Ellen McHenry's The Elements, Ingredients of the Universe. They really, really loved this. And I will definitely be having a review on this. I think it'll be uploaded this week, okay? So they love this. And they all work together. And I actually have a couple of videos on that. I have one where it's a day in the life, and they're actually doing some experiments, or they're doing something with that. So it's chemistry. My children really like this. It's so fun for them. I just set it and moonwalk away. And it's easy to read. It's conversational. And you'll find, guys, with a lot of my curriculum choices, the things that become hits are, it's literature-based, story-based, or conversational, okay? So children really, they get drawn in with a story, okay? People love stories. Children are no different. Now, riding the coattails of that is someone told me about the Happy Atom story. Now, this is a chemistry book. Now, book 1 focuses on the periodic table, and it's two people, Guy, the boy, and the teacher, Professor Terry, and they're going on this adventure. They're going to Fantasyland, which is the periodic table, and the connections they make through stories, you'll never forget. Now, this first book I have is a hard copy, but the rest of them are paperbacks. It's so, don't be put off on all the text. It's not like that throughout the book, but it's stories. And it really makes connections. So for some reason, I cannot get my hands on book 3 and book 4. So the first book, well, first of all, let me just show you some of this. So when they're talking about evaporation, look at the examples they give. This is practical chemistry. The woman who makes the story, Irene Rasinger, she does a phenomenal job of showing you how what you're reading immediately relates to your real life. Towel drying. What does towel drying have to do with evaporation? Well, she tells you. Well, the guy tells you, after my shower, I hang up my towel that dried me. The next day is dry and ready to use again. I guess the water in the towel got heated by the air in the room and changed to water vapor. The water in my towel moved into the air in the house, and my towel got dry. That's a change of state from a liquid to a gas, but I never thought about it. Oh, I'm learning so much. So this is all throughout the book. So everything that you're doing in life, a lot of it's chemistry, and she tells you why. So that way you always know, and it's not, you take all the scariness out of it. Now look, does she look like she can tell a good story? But she does. She looked like she might have a cauldron stirring up with some arms sticking out. But Miss Reisinger, she is on the money. Now we have book 2. Book 2 is it goes further with the so book 1 is the periodic table, and then in book 2 they start going a little bit more with electrons, protons, things like that. And then in book 3, let me see, because they tell you about all the different books. Book 3 is compounds, and y'all got to get this book. Okay, so book 1, the periodic table. Book 2, adventures with the elements. So you're talking about Bohr's models, things like that. And then you're slightly introduced to compounds, the formation of compounds. And then book 3 is compounds and formulas. And then book 4, how to balance equations. And I've been trying to get my hand on these 2 books. So I'll see what I can do, and then I can do a review on that. But for chemistry, y'all, that is great. I was reading some reviews throughout just the internet, and people were saying this helped me when I was in, they were saying like for AP chemistry, they were a biochemistry major in college, and because these books are actually old, it really helped them because it painted stories, and they always remembered the story. So it was always remember, you know, how to place things or whatever. So that is a huge hit. The Happy Atom story by Irene Reisinger. Okay. And then the other hit was Ellen McHenry's The Elements, Ingredients of the Universe. Okay, let me catch up with some of these comments. Hello, Kimiko or Kimika Burton. I know a Burton. Seven Blessed Mama. I love Ellen McHenry books. I have her Botany and Neuroscience. You know, I was thinking of getting that. I kind of just wanted to get a feel for what the boys wanted to do for the fall. I haven't decided yet, but I don't know. That's why I haven't put out our curriculum picks for the fall, because aside from my rising ninth grader, I ain't got nothing. I just have so much. So I got to get on the ball. Okay, y'all know this is a perennial favorite in the homeschool community, Life of Fred. Don't sleep on this. Now, I've always used this as a supplement or as, here, go read something, because it's fun. You know, it's about a little 2-inch kid named Fred. And the story, again, it's story-based math. Now, would I consider this a spine to use for math? No, but you see how it breaks out into, like, if you know the book series, you have a book on fractions, you have a book on decimals and percent. So those little topics that kind of trip up kids as they get further along in their math journey, this is really good to have, because in the school system, the pace is really quick, and there's not enough spiraling back to those mathematical concepts that always trip up the students, whether it's long division, triple digit multiplication, regrouping, fractions, decimals, all, ratios, all of those things that you don't really do all the time. Sometimes you forget. So I always like to take a snapshot and go deeper with a topic. Now, the reason why I like this is because, my middle child, who struggles with math sometimes, he wasn't getting fractions, and we spent a long time with fractions. Okay, got that checked. And then we moved on to decimals and percent, and he kind of knew it, but in real life, he did not. So when we were at the store, just at Target, maybe a couple months back, February, is that a couple months? Anyway, it was a while back. They had a sale, and you know how you see the signs, 10% off, or $50 off, or something like that. And I was like, Jay, well, how much is this Nike shirt gonna cost? He was like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you just being lazy, or do you really not know how to convert that to know how much money you're going to get off? And do you think this is a real good sale? So you kind of get into consumer math. And this is what I liked about Life of Fred, because it's so applicable to your everyday life. You can in turn use this and apply it. I would like to call Life of Fred applied mathematics. And once we got home, I'm like, red flags. We went over dollars versus cents. Okay. So in that chapter, it focuses on percentages off and percentage of. I didn't know this when I was growing up in school, or I forgot it. It wasn't until I was in college that my best friend, when I was in college, she was a chemical engineering major, so she knew her math. Couldn't find France on a map, but that was okay. I could, but I couldn't do a percentage at Express, the store. So she showed me how to do percentages, and it was so easy. I'm like, why did I not learn or remember this from school? Fred did it the way my girlfriend taught me when I was in college, how to do percentages. So sometimes, it's something easy. The solution is really easy. So, and I have all the books in this series, but for this one, we're going to do a walkthrough, and then I'm going to highlight all the ones that really helped my son. But it was mainly just figuring out percentages, okay, which they're going to be dealing with a lot in life. You want to get a mortgage, you're trying to get a car. You have to deal with percentages, and you have to be able to kind of do it quickly, so because then other information is coming at you. So you want to be able to grasp, and be comfortable with that number manipulation. You're at the restaurant, the bill comes, okay? How are you going to, that fractions too? So how are you calculating how much everyone owes, and then the total? So all of that stuff. So Life of Fred, apply mathematics to the nth degree. Big hit. Now, not the whole thing, but really it was that one chapter. But that one chapter made all the difference. And you know what? He's all confident now. You know, he's got his wallet and everything. And he's like, Mom, now we're learning about what's considered a really good sell. And I'm like, you know, you have to go to the store a couple of times to know what the original price was. So you know if that's really a sell. But that gets into economics. That's a whole nother thing. All right, moving on. Any questions? Any questions? 7 Blessed Mama says, we also have her mapping the world with arts. I've been wanting to use that for like 5 or 6 years. I know so many families that love mapping the world with arts. And I want to say it's on online, online G3 or Athena's Academy. These are online platforms for learning. One of them has that class, Mapping the World with Art. I love it. Again, it's like stories and you're making associations. So, you know, you see pictures. I think you're taught to see pictures with how the states, the countries look. So I think that's really cool. So if I can get into that class again or get into the class, I might do it. Oh, 7 Blessed Mom, you're on both platforms. Thank you, girl, because you're giving me the view on YouTube and you're supporting me on IG. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Real Moms, great resources. Thank you, my love. And I have some more coming for you. All right, what about, okay, so moving on. Oh, let me rewind it back for writing. Now, no. But yes. Okay, but caveat. Big caveat. Now, I did a video on this. But someone asked for a walkthrough, and I need to do a walkthrough, and I'm going to do a walkthrough for you. And you know who you are. Now, I love writing in rhetoric. Now, my 7th grader used this a while back, and I noticed this is Writing in Rhetoric, Book 3, Narrative 2. Now, when he was using this, you start doing a lot of outlining. But when he was doing the outlining and I was looking at it, I was like, it seems confusing. It was telling you about events and situations and stuff, but it had no definition for what an event was, how to identify it in a story, what's considered an event versus what's considered I forget the other vocabulary they used, but it was that in and of itself was confusing. There was no solid definition for how to identify elements in the story so you can complete the outline. Because I was looking at this, I had to go to the teacher's edition. I was like, are you kidding me? Let me see if I can find. Nope, I said I wasn't going to do a review. I'm going to do a review separately, and I'm going to have this laid out, and then I'll also show you how I lesson planned this. So what I did, because you know you got to be resourceful and MacGyver up in this mug, I was like, okay, Writing in Rhetoric, you've been working so far. I don't need a pothole from you, because I was already annoyed with this with my oldest son. So I said, well, put this aside and let's go deeper with this outlining, but find something else. Now, the thing about, here's the thing, guys, I need to do a video on this. When you're looking at curriculum, you need to first look at, are they coming at the curriculum from a whole to parts approach or from a parts to whole approach? That makes a big difference. If it sounds confusing, don't worry about it. I'm here for you. I'm going to have a video on that. We're going to be live because I really want to show you. I have this great diagram. I'm going to have to use my whiteboard. I really have to show you how to decipher if the curriculum is parts to whole or whole to parts. Writing in Rhetoric is whole to parts, okay? It's giving you the big picture. And then once you have the big picture, you're supposed to be able to kind of fill in the details. But the details were fuzzy as all get out. So we went here to the part. Now see here, this is only teaching you about outlining the part. Is it teaching you about writing in general? No, okay? And that's okay. Because when you have whole to parts and parts to whole, it's a good marriage. Now I have 2 of these. Why? Because I am insane and out of control with buying curriculum. I forget what I own. But in this case, it works for you because well, my son's curse of handwriting with the last name is on every page. So that works out fine that I have 2 copies. But when you look at this outlining, it's 24 lessons and 23 pages, 24 pages. You can do a lesson a day. We knocked this out in basically a month, like a month and a couple of days. But it breaks down titling, how to find the main topic or the main idea, and then the topic and the subtopic and the details and the difference between them. So when you're setting up your outline, you know how you have the title, Roman numeral, and then A, and then 1. Well, do you know what goes, why does this go at the numeral? Why does this information go under A? Why does this information go under 1? So it gives you lots of examples of how to determine where to place everything in your outline. Guys, we take this for granted. Writing is very subjective, it's very abstract, and the more that you can make it just a little bit tangible, the easier it is for your child to be successful with writing. And you do it, you know, subtopics, okay? You get into events. Is an event an A, or is it a number, or is it a letter, or is it a Roman numeral? Okay, real basic stuff. You can knock this out. Okay, so I have to say, even though I did not like the outlining process with this, once we put this down and picked this up, my son was like, oh, and then you know you're good on good money when they're like, oh, this is easy. I'll start with this first today, Mom. I'm like, that was the whole point. So sometimes you just need something to appreciate something else. You got to know when someone's bad so you can appreciate when they're good. You know, you don't know what cold is unless you know what hot is. So we kind of needed the opposite to appreciate each other, okay? So we're done with this. Now we can finish this with more confidence, okay? And remember, you're a homeschooler. Your school year is not 9 months. You do what you need to do, okay? So this is the hit, really. This is the hit. This was the conduit for it, but this is the real hit. Outlining, I think this was like $5 or $7 on Amazon. Who was it by? Remedia Publications, outlining. And they have, this is grade, hold on, I don't want my last name showing. This is grades 3 and 4, and then they have grades 5 through 8, okay? All right, so that was a hit. Now, no, I'm gonna save that for another video. Okay, now here is a hit miss, okay? Now, way back in the day, if I remember, I'll link the video up here. I talked about hits and misses for 2nd grade, and I had this was a miss. Not anymore. And I'm going to tell you why. I've used those outlining books before. They got the job done. Yes. You know what? It's just like they tell you if you want to be a YouTuber, or if you want to be an actor, or if you want to do something where it's really competitive or just lots of obstacles, they say start messy. You know, you're always waiting for the perfect time to start something. Oh, I need to lose weight to do this. Oh, I need to have this car. Or I need to, you know, it just get started. And then use that momentum to keep you going. And then you just refine and nuance yourself as you're going along. But you have nothing to refine, to realign, to readjust if you ain't doing nothing, if you're just static. So you just get that kinetic motion going. You can just, you know, course correct along the way. Now, I was using Handwriting Without Tears, a perennial favorite among all kinds of people, homeschoolers or not. I picked up Sepulveda Blvd, but I forgot the real reason why I really liked it. So when I was reviewing this, it looked kind of hard and complicated, and it seemed to move fast. So I gave it a thumbs down, and I wish I hadn't, because back then I don't know what kind of idea I had about what I want out of this program. Now, why am I talking about this? My 8th grader, when I was looking over his handwriting this year, or actually last summer, I was like, ew, I didn't tell him this. I'm like, ew, your handwriting is ugly. It just looks like print just stuck together. And then it clicked. I was like, it's not real cursive. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me go and just see what cursive. So I was looking at cursive, and then I went to the rabbit hole. I was looking at cursive writing from the 1800s and stuff like that, just crazy stuff. But cursive writing is an art. And I was looking at his, and it literally looked like manuscript with like just a little loop. You think that's cursive? No, it's a little bit more. His cursive just was ugly, and it wasn't his handwriting. It just looked ugly. So I went back and grabbed Handwriting Without Tears, and I'm doing a review. We're gonna do it live. I got 2 cameras ready to go live, where I have one on each book. I'm ready, y'all. And I looked at it. It's ugly. Handwriting Without Tears, cursive writing. I hate to say ugly. It doesn't look like real cursive writing. This is why I was drawn to Zaner Blvd, because the cursive, let me try to find a larger page so you can see. The cursive is real cursive. That's probably why I was drawn to it. It's real cursive writing. Maybe that's not the best page. I want you to, I was trying to find A through Z. But don't worry, because I'm going to do a comparison. I want you to see, especially if your kids are younger, and you're trying to decide between which curriculum, I would hands-on use this. Okay, so my son, my youngest one, my 4th grader, I already started him with Handwriting Without Tears, right? Because 2nd grade, I was like, oh, I didn't like it. In 3rd grade, da-da-da-da. So 4th grade, when I realized that, I was like, is it too late to get him to switch? I was like, Mo, can we try this? Just 1 page a day, and then we can, not do something else, like phonics. We can take a break from phonics. He was like, so just 1 page a day. I promise it'll take you less than 5 minutes. Okay. So he's my experiment. Then I had to throw him a couple of dollars for the week. Okay. I'm like, you'll be my test taker, to see. And he liked this. He liked this. He liked it. He liked it. Look at that. This is my teacher copy. You actually have, once you start writing, you have to go through and look at, what was really good about it, or underline letters that need improvement. I love this. And let me tell you, his handwriting, that's why I didn't show you the outlining pages, because I liked it so much. I liked it so much when he was doing outlining. I had him do it all in cursive because it was so pretty. It was pretty. It looked like cursive writing from back in the day. So if I had to choose between Zaner Blvd and Handwriting Without Tears for cursive, I would go with this if you want the cursive to look like real cursive. Okay, so this was a hit. After being a miss, this is a hit. Okay, watch my other video to get more information. I'll try to link it after this video is over. Okay, 7 Blessed says, I love Zaner Blvd in the past, but went away from it. I might try again this coming year. I just don't like Handwriting Without Tears in the older years. Exactly. In the beginning, all my kids were raised on it, and it got the job done. I mean, I had little hangman, all the tiles. I had everything, the songs, all of that. But for cursive, no, I didn't think about it back then. I knew there was something different that I didn't like about it, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And that's what it was. That's what it was. Let's see. I learned about Zaner Blvd all those years ago in 1st edition, Well-Trained Mind. Yes. For those of you who don't know, the Well-Trained Mind, it is a forum. Well, actually, it's a one-stop shop for all things for the classically trained child. Susan Wise Bauer, she's the one that also produced this Story of the World. She runs that website, and it's the forum, whether you're a classical homeschooler or not, because I'm eclectic, it is a wealth of information, and you have all kinds of homeschoolers on that site. Okay. Lily says, I'm so glad you're live. Oh, I'm glad to get in here. I was like, oh, I need to start putting out 2 or 3 videos a week. But if I do lives, I could just do it every day. We just come on. You can come in and out. And I want to make them small bites. So you can just kind of grab the info and keep going. So I don't like overwhelm you with so much stuff. All right. So let's move on. Oh, Michelle says, what is eclectic? Okay, you know, maybe I need to do a homeschool one-on-one series. So eclectic is one of about 5 or 6 main homeschool approaches, philosophies, or methods, okay? You have like the classical method, you have Charlotte Mason, you have eclectic, which is taking all of the typical homeschool methods and using the one that fits for you, right? Whether it's Waldorf, unit studies, what else did I say? Charlotte Mason, classical, traditional, world schooling, all the different kinds of homeschooling. The eclectic person will choose which one she wants to use. So for history, you might be classical. For science, you might be Charlotte Mason. And then for everything else, you know, you might just be one. So you can, like, you know, mix and play a la carte things. Hey, Samantha from Pray Love Homeschool. Okay, so let's move on to my next hit. Now, this one is for your older kids, okay? Y'all know I was struggling with my Shakespeare, but I didn't give up. So I had to keep digging, and I found something. Y'all, I'm doing reviews on this one. I was so happy with this because it allowed us to keep going and not quit. Do y'all know how many books I have with my kids, novel books, and we never finished the doggone book? I'm embarrassed to say that. And some of these books are very famous books. Let me just, let me move on to something else. I have ADHD. Oh my God, I am diagnosing myself online. Live. I have ADHD. I'm like, oh, this is good. Let's go read. Let's get some more information on this book. And then we just keep reading that book. And then that book that we started with is over there in the corner with a plate of spaghetti, hard old spaghetti sitting on top of it. I don't know why y'all follow me. I'm a mess. But listen, no fear Shakespeare. These are all the ones we did. Now, my son was in online G3s, Shakespeare's comedies one semester, and then Shakespeare tragedies the following semester. And obviously these are the tragedies, right? And let me tell you, it made going through Shakespeare so easy. So here's a breakdown for how this happens. Okay, so you have 2 versions of the play in the book. On the left side, on this side, you have the original text with all the Elizabethan and Shakespearean language, intonations, all of that in the bold border. And then on the other side, you have the common day, regular folks translation of it. And so as you're reading, you can compare. You can compare. And so the book is really, it looks thick, but it's really not, because it's really the play twice in the book. So it doesn't even take that long to get through it. So what I did with my son, we would read, I got to make a video on how we did this. So this is what we did. So we read independent of what online G3 was doing, because this was working for us. So we'll read the original, the black border, and then we talk about it. And we're like, okay, well, let's see what it really means. Let's see if we're on point. And then we will read the translated version, okay? They translate the vocabulary, but it's still in verse, but it's just kind of like, I don't want to say dumbed down, but it puts it in layman's terms. And then I made a playlist, and we would go watch Shakespeare summary and analysis course something. There's 2 people that we use. One was like an animation version. It would have plot summary, and then it would have analysis and summaries after each scene. And then we will watch that. And then it would just, the thing on YouTube, the videos were like never more than 3 minutes. Most of them were 1 minute. So we will watch it. I would ask him what he thought, give me analysis, give me a summary, and then we will watch it on YouTube just to see how close we were or far away from the mark. 20 minutes, boom, we were good. I'm going to show y'all got to do this. This will take away the mystery and the fear. No fear. I promise, this title is on point. You will not have fear. As a matter of fact, you're going to start smelling yourself. Okay. So we have King Lear, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, and Hamlet. Now, come the fall, I know he's not gonna do the classes again, but for my other kids, we'll start with the comedies, and I'm gonna get this for them. I loved it. We had a good time reading it. So I really enjoyed that. A huge, huge hit. Okay, let's see. Lily says, can you show what the Shakespeare looks like inside? Of course. Okay, so when you open it, let me see, there's... Okay, so at the beginning of the book, they give you the cast of characters, and you get the backstory on the characters, okay? And then you have your act and the scene. So the border, the black border, is the original text, right? It's the Shakespearean, the flowery language. Right here on the other side is the translation verse, right? Still very readable. It's like word for word. It goes line by line. And then you just keep doing that until you're done with that scene, and then you go on to the next scene. That is basically what it does. And then you'll get little additional information on the side. I don't know if you can see that. Well, yeah, you can see that there's something going on. Okay, and then you have at the end, you just have, oh, this is by SparkNotes, I forgot. And then at the end, they have just a list of all the books that SparkNotes has. And then you have notes. So if you wanted to take some notes, you can do some notes. Like if you want to do an analysis, break it down, whatever, you have some notes in the back. We didn't use them. We didn't need them. But those were really great. It's called Shakespeare Side by Side Plain English. No Fear Shakespeare. Published by SparkNotes. SparkNotes. Okay? Published by SparkNotes. No Fear Shakespeare. Shakespeare Side by Side Plain English. There you go. Okay. And then if you want to look at, get more information, there you go. Okay. I think I have one more thing left. No, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it for hits and misses. And those were obvious hits and misses. Because I'm a mess too, Mrs. Felton. Girl, I'm a mess. Look, my stuff is a mess. I really try to keep my kids and their stuff locked and on point. Sometimes it does get messy, and I just know that you know, we can pull it together. We can pull it together. Because if you read Marva Collins' book, you know anything is possible. You can do it. Because you're a well-intentioned, honest, informative, helpful, and an interactive person. Oh, are you talking to me, Hummingbird? Thank you. Thank you. Miss Stuff says, well stated, Hummingbird. I totally agree. Oh, thank you, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm a mess. Yeah, I'm like, you know, you just have to remove the ego, because how do you learn when your ego is in the way? So if you don't like me or that, whatever, then good. You just weeded yourself out of my circle, and I don't need to rock with you. But I'm just going to show my mistakes and everything. Listen, guys, a lot of times people on YouTube or whatever you're getting your social media information from, they're like a half step ahead of you. And they try to make it seem like they're 20 steps ahead of you. A lot of you have so much information. That's why I keep begging y'all to come on my live and share your wisdom. A lot of you are steps ahead of me, and you don't even necessarily have to have older children than mine, but you just done more, or, you know, your experiences are different, but still we're all aligned in some kind of way. So yeah, I just try to be honest, because you can't always remember your lies. Okay. So just tell the truth and just be honest with it, and people are more likely to forgive you. Okay. So those are my hits and misses for the homeschool curriculum for 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade for the year 2020, 2021. I'm going to try to promise to make a smaller video. Sometimes it's hard for me to chop it up. I got so much stuff on my laptop. It's running slow. But if I can do it, I'll chop it up, and I'll just, because I got everything all weaved up. I'm just going to have to make separate videos. They'll be short, like 10 minutes or less for each grade level with the hits or misses, okay? I think I got everything. Y'all have any questions before I get out of here? Any questions? Oh, I've been neglecting you, IG. Let's see. Real Mom says, we definitely need to feature you on our page. Your experience is so valuable, and I love your delivery. Oh, thank you, Janet. I appreciate that. Yeah, just DM me. I'm open. I'm just here to serve and let you guys learn from my mistakes. And if there's one more child in the world that's got some smarts and some stuff like that, shoot, that's what we need in the world. Let's see, unschooling. Let's see, Real Moms. I don't know. Maybe you're talking with someone else. Oh yeah. So, duh. When I was talking about homeschool approaches, definitely how did I forget that? Unschooling, because I think I'm shifting toward an unschooler. Like, I'm looking at all this curriculum. I've been purging, and I'm like, oh, I just don't want all these books and stuff. I just want to be free. I just want to just have a life teach us. So I'm kind of flirting with that. I got something in the works I want to show you guys. I want to get your opinion on it. But yeah, that's part of being an eclectic homeschooler. For me, I'm finding that homeschooling works good for older kids, especially if they start having some passions about something and you want to capitalize on that. Okay, remind me, music production. Someone remind me, put music production in the chat. Let me catch up with these comments. Oh, I read those growing up, I think to help with a test. Oh, the No Fear Shakespeare, Real Moms or Janet? Okay, so I am caught up with the comments on IG. Music production. So my kids are doing a camp on game design, but within that camp, they started doing a lot of music production because obviously there's lots of music in games. And I noticed that one of the sponsors of the camp was Jimmy Iovine, which for those of you who don't know, he's like in his 80s now, but he's a huge music producer in the music industry. When you think of Quincy Jones, he's like there. And so they started having them do all of this stuff for music production. And I was like, because I did a survey, it was asking me about it. I'm like, this is on game design. So then I went and I started watching some interviews about, watching interviews that Jimmy did. And he was talking about the future of music. And his not regret, but one thing that he was really wanting to see was, since they took music and just the arts out of schools, they're having such a hard time finding really creative students as a farm system from the schools. They're like, we need more people to raise the state of the music industry or just the arts community. And it's hard to find a lot of these students because all of that's taken out of the schools. So anyway, so I was talking to my son about it. I was like, you know what? I've been trying to get you to do some music to make your own beats to put on Epidemic Sound. You can license out your music. It could be 10 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Those of you who are content creators, you know that, you buy intro music or you just play music throughout your video. It has to be copyright protected, or you have to have a license to use it. You can't just use anyone's stuff. So I need to put y'all on game. If your child is even just remotely interested in music, or if they're really into gaming, they're used to hearing the music in those games. It's a natural, if you wanted to know everything about that industry, you want to include music. Okay, here's one thing. Remember Madonna. I'm a woman of a particular age. I'm very seasoned. But the one thing I remember about Madonna in the beginning, she did an interview, I think in Variety, and they were interviewing other people. And one of the guys, he was below the line set designer or something. The interviewer asked, is Madonna hard to work for? He was like, yes and no. Yes, because she knows where everything is and where everything should be on the stage. And he said, but that made my job easier because she would walk onto the stage before a performance and say, Madonna back in the day, she had some elaborate stage design. She would know where every nail and screw and like lumber or whatever, she knew where everything was. And he was like, I was just shocked. He said, it made my life easier because I could explain things to her, why we couldn't do this, or we're going to make a change here. She would get it. But then he said it made my job hard because she knew everything. I was like, wow. She knew her industry inside and out, not just the singing, not just the dancing, but the technical aspects of it, and probably some other stuff as well. So if your child is into gaming, your child's into music, either of those industries, have them try to learn everything about it, because you'll find that there's some overlap. And then you can, find an interest that, that they're into, or, or nurture, and they could probably turn that into a career. So for unschooling, I think that's amazing, because they have that time to explore and see and try on different things to see if that's something that they want to do. But let me tell you, it is the time to be alive if you're a teen, because the world is yours. There are so many opportunities for you to make money. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to go to a trade school. You can be a business right now. So I definitely need to do some videos on that, because I want to get more homeschoolers, older homeschoolers, those high school teens that seem to trickle into the public high school, like our situation. And that's a whole nother video that I talked about earlier. But yeah, so just wanted to put that on radar. In the comments, if you're interested, just put it in there, and I'll try to get you guys some more information. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Yes, music production. Music production, you could be a sound engineer. They got all these fancy names. A sound engineer, Foley artist. That's more for movies. It's just so many different things you can do and get paid. My son did an internship 2 summers ago, and in this internship, they actually had a music production class. He didn't take the class, but he did like a little cursory where he was exposed to it for 1 day, and then he did the things that he wanted to sign up for. And in this music production class, because I was there, they had it all nice and set up. But I remember I was talking to the owner, and he's well connected into the industry, music and movies. And he was like, do you know 2 of our alumni, they started making money when they were sophomores in high school. So they paid for their college education just from the beats they wrote in this class. He says, I've been trying to get my cut from them, but I'm like, hey, just pay the overhead on this expensive building and I'm good. But I was like, yeah, he showed me all the deets, everything. They just started, this was before Epidemic Sound was big. They were just playing around. And the thing is, when you're young, everybody wants to know what you think. All the advertisers and people like that, they want to, you are gold mine. They think everything you touch is gold. So whenever you're making something, they think, oh, if you like it, then other kids will like it too. So you kind of have, your kids have that advantage. They have that youth on their side. So I'm going to stop bumping my gums. I'm going to have some lunch, and then I need to pick up my kids from that camp that's supposed to be gaming and design, but they sneak it in music production, and I'm okay with that. All right, guys, I hope that has been helpful to you. Listen, I do have free, and I need to update this, but if you want to get your free homeschool checklist, I need to update it. It's down below in the description box. I'm probably going to switch out that, because I think most of you guys have that, and put another freebie in there. You know what? Quick question before we leave. If there is a freebie that you want, like a real useful one, not something specific for like a specific book or a specific whatever, but something general, put that in the comment section. And if I see enough people are wanting it, I will make it for you guys. If you want a curriculum tracker, if you want a different kind of lesson planner, if there's something that you really like, if you have a picture of it, like on Pinterest or something, send that to me and I can duplicate anything. So, but if you guys are really interested in that and you're going to use it, I will make that for you guys. Okay. I like designing. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. Please visit my website. It is not done yet. I don't know why I'm asking you to visit it, because it is not done. But after I pick up my kids from camp, I'm going to work on it, and I'm focused on getting all my book list up there. So when this video is over, I'm going to link all of the books that I mentioned here, and you guys can go check that out. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next share. Take care. Peace out. Mwah.